Hello and welcome. We are the Epitome of Salt doing our set review of the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. We are diving into the uncommons today. I have some guests, Nate
What's up?
and John.
Yo, yo, yo.
And without further ado, lead us off, Nate.
Dusk Rose Reliquary. Ooh, tongue twister. One white for an artifact is an additional cost to cast a spell. Sack an artifact or creature. It has Ward 2. When it ETBs, exile target artifact or creature an opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield.
This thing is sick, right? It's like a B minus. Like the art is also beautiful, by the way. The black
Yep.
art. This is like a B minus, right? I mean, like how big is that cost? Like, it's almost like bargain, mandatory bargain.
This is a bone splinter style effect that I quite like. I don't totally love. It's not for every deck, but it definitely will play well. And one mana, the price is right there for one mana.
Yeah, I think
Oops.
it is in Ward 2, but there is always like that risk, that this gets blown up.
Yep.
Um so like that part I'm not loving, but this is still fantastic removal for one white. You can't really ask for much more, I think.
It does die to a braid, which is a little sad, but at least a braid costs 4 on this thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
you guys talk me down. I'll give it a C plus.
I'm on C plus.
I'll C plus.
Okay, starting off with just all agreeing with each other, which is always nice. John, how about you?
We got a helping hand. That's one white for a sorcery. Return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped.
That's one mana.
That again, yeah, one mana, you're getting a lot of value there. It is kind of sucky that it's comes in tapped, and that it's a sorcery, but I think getting a creature, especially if you've like milled it away, uh, for one mana, you're definitely getting your mana's value worth for it if you're getting like that 3 mana creature.
You never want
So
a ton of these, but you're 1 mana less than normal for this effect at the cost of it coming in tapped. So if you're behind on board, this isn't going to save you, but if you're even on board or better, this is going to be quite solid.
I'll give this like a I'll give it like a D plus because it's like you only want this if you're low on playables. Like you'd rather have the good card.
I think rather than low and playable is just like a low mana curve. Like if you're really
Yeah.
topping out on like that 2 and 3 mana curve, I think this is like it gets really good. So if you're in like that red white, black white, because it's doing a lot of sack, so just like sacking your dude for value, bringing it back, tapped, but still like you could even then again sack it. Just a lot for it only at 1 mana. So I think I'd definitely put this at like again a C plus.
Mm.
Okay. This not being able to get artifacts really hurts it. If it could get artifacts, it'd probably be in the C tier. For me, I'm with Kev on this one. It's a D plus for me. It's a card that I won't hate playing, but only under certain circumstances, which takes it down quite a bit.
Yep. And John, I gotta let you read this one.
All right, the market gnome. Give me all the gnomes, bro. All right, it's an artifact creature gnome. When Market Gnome dies, you gain 1 life and draw a card. And when Market Gnome is exiled from the battlefield while you're activating a craft ability, you get to uh, gain 1 life and draw a card. So I think that's super cool. It's going to work in those sacrifice decks and it's going to work in those craft decks. So, just, me seeing this as 1 mana, gain a life, draw a card, and a good block, like a decent blocker, you know, I'm really loving this guy. I love the gnomes in this set.
How many of these are we putting in our deck? Like
Yes.
a
I
like a
wouldn't be mad with 3.
like a
I'd put 3 of these
even a
guys.
playset. I think I'd run a playset
I've
of
never
these.
played set of these.
I
I
think
love this guy.
I
This guy's a house,
this game
dude.
might be out. This might be kind of a hot take. I feel like this might like just be a B straight up. Like this thing is so much. It's everything. You can't go wrong with this guy.
I'm not quite at solid B, but I am on B minus with this thing. Like it is
Yeah,
really good, and I really like it, but it needs other players to really get you to where I'd want to give it a B plus.
yeah, I'm at a B minus too, just like a little lower.
Sure.
Simply because like he still does nothing on his own. Like he could kind of just sit there, and like if your opponent doesn't really want to like have like if you don't have a sack and your opponent really is like, oh, it's not worth it to let you draw a card like right now, then you know, uh, he kind of just like okay there in those circumstances. So
Okay.
B minus.
I think it's reasonable. I'll go down with you guys. Keep the solidarity alive. The Ruin Lurker Bat is a white for a 1/1 flying lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, if you descended this turn, scry 1. Nothing to hate here. Just a solid little 1-drop playable that gets you some value when you're descending.
Yeah, I feel like White's getting a lot at 1 mana here. It's just a lot of little dudes doing a lot of little things.
There
So
are quite a few just like little flyers that come down on one on this format. Definitely something to look out for.
Yeah, it makes me think that 2/1/2 blue guy is going to be even more of a house. But
Yep.
just keeping the focus here. I don't know. I think this is like probably just like a C plus somewhere. Pretty solid. Depends on how
I put
high you
him.
are on with descending.
Yeah, again, but that's the thing is like White really isn't looking to descend. So
Mm.
more
Mm-hmm.
often than not, I think this guy more than like the green black or blue black is really looking at your guys being sacked. So uh, I would say like not as synergistic with the rest of the white cards, but still all around a good player.
I'll go C minus on that. You talk me down.
I'm on solid C on this just because of all of the little 1/1 counter synergies you can give this. So you play the aspirant, the 1/2 that puts a 1/1 counter on this. You're attacking with a 2/2 flying lifelink on turn 2.
Ooh, that's nice.
Ooh, that
So
is nice.
averages out from that's really good, and then I don't like the descended is just a little bit of extra value to me.
Sure. Just,
Not really focused on it, so solid C for me.
I'll stay C
I'd say
minus.
solid C.
Okay, C minus CC. Not bad. Minus C. Clay fired bricks, Nate.
Clayfire Bricks is 1 and a white for an artifact. When an ETB is search your library for a basic plains, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. You gain 2 life. Craft with another artifact for 5 white. Flips into Cosmium Kiln. When Cosmium Kiln ETBs create 2 1/1 colorless gnome artifact creature tokens. Creatures you control get +1/+1.
I love the smell of freshly baked gnomes. Oh man, people are drinking the Kool-Aid online about this card.
Yeah.
This thing is 2 mana to do nothing. I mean, it heals you for 2, which is something, but like, man, 7's a lot.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like if you're, waiting till turn 7, like how like unaffected is your board at turn 7? It's like maybe you have like 2 creatures besides you, 2 more, so you're getting like I'm thinking like being generous, if you're ahead, this is gonna give you like 5, 6, power on board, at its best case scenario,
For 7.
because you have already 2 creatures on the battlefield. This is 2 more, and then it gives all the creatures +1/+1. It's just that, being at 7 mana is really just like,
Ugh.
what's happening from all that time. It's either like when you're doing this at 7 mana, you have to be, I think, decently ahead.
I'll give this like a yeah, like this is like a D card. I don't know. I think people are gonna play this and then slowly realize that not affecting the board is just not what you want.
I'm a little higher on this. I see the 7 mana craft thing is if you have nothing better to do with this. This is 2 mana, get a land drop, like guarantee yourself a land drop, gain 2 life, artifact ETB, and perfect craft fodder for something else as well. And then in the late game, if you need it, it's an anthem. So I'm a little higher on it. I don't love it because it still doesn't affect the board, but it does have little pieces of value that make it like C minus level for me. I think this is too reminiscent of Birth of Meletus for me to go down too far on it because that card was surprisingly solid.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say I'd say C minus as well. It honestly looks like a kind of like a cycler to me, You're cycling this card, playing it for 2 mana to go get that to go get that planes.
You guys are crazy. I can't wait to see you guys play this thing. But hey, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Dirtling is good. Dauntless Dismantler. 1 and a white for a human artificer. 1/4. Artifacts your opponents control and the battlefield tapped. You may pay XX white, sacrifice Dauntless Dismantler, and destroy each artifact with mana value X. It is a symmetrical effect, so it hits you and your opponent. I mean, the I don't know how good that second ability is. I don't know how much I'm gonna ever want to activate it. I mean, in an emergency, I guess sure, but really, it's just a 2-mana 1/4 with very marginal upside. I'm pretty down with that. This guy's booty is pretty blocky.
It's not my favorite thing ever, but it's above rate. It blocks well. It has some marginal upside, and it's 1 white, sack it, destroy all artifacts with mana value 0. So blue-white uncommon, meet your token maker. It's
gosh.
dead.
That was terrible, Nate.
I'm sorry.
Sure. What do you guys think? Like, C minus, C?
I'm conflicted because he's actually kind of like a decent blocker, you know, a 1/4. And I think, you know, the blue-white is really trying to stay alive as long as possible. Maybe trying to fire off that clay-fired bricks for 7, you know, then this guy becomes a 2/5. But, you know, the double X and sack for white is just like, man, you're maybe catching them on a artifact like later on. And I don't think that that's that relevant. And then when you're just trying to kill tokens, well, white's just trying to make the tokens there, so it kind of hurts itself.
My problem is the lack of synergy. Like, white seems to be very synergy based, and this thing doesn't really do that. It's just kind of in there as a big idiot. And so, like, this big idiot gets like a C minus because I'll probably play it because it's pretty good. It's like above rate, but nothing special.
Maybe in that white-red
Mm-hmm.
theme, I think he'd go pretty well.
I'd give this like a sideboard C plus. Outside of sideboard location, like situations, probably C minus. Of it's just a good enough rate such that it's never going to be like D tier like barely playable, but definitely would prefer to be doing something else in most white decks.
I'd actually go D plus. I wouldn't put him at C. I just don't want him really in any of the decks.
I don't blame you. I was leaning that way too, but
That's
you know,
fair.
a 1/4 is just too tempting for me to ignore.
Yep.
Speaking of things that are not too tempting to ignore, you want to get this one, Nate?
Yeah, Guardian of the Great Door, double white for a 4/4 flying angel. As an additional cost to cast this spell, tap 4 untapped artifacts, creatures, and or lands you control. So this thing has effectively both improvise and convoke, and is a 6-mana 4/4 flying.
Oh man,
This card's sweet.
This the brews I'm gonna brew up with this thing, dude. Me and the Guardian are gonna do some. Are we gonna break down some great doors, or we're gonna protect some great doors together.
This is gonna be really cool. I definitely see this coming down on turn 4, especially with cards like that one, the one that makes 2 gnomes and it comes with the backpack.
Yep.
Yeah, that
The
thing is just
backpack
like
of
Soul
the
Ring for
gnomes.
this guy.
You play that on 3, and then you just
It's
play this on
better
4.
than Soul Ring. It's 3 mana because you can tap the satchel
Yeah, exactly.
and the 2 creatures. This
Are you
thing
guys-
is gonna come down on turn 4 consistently, and effectively 4 mana 4/4 flying is a house.
I mean, but we can't get too crazy because there was a 5-mana 4/4 flying in the last set that was almost like, almost unplayable.
Yeah.
So
Who?
like
5 mana 4/4?
flying, yeah. There was the Griffin.
Yeah.
Whatever, Dutiful Griffin.
Oh, that's right.
And so this thing, I don't know. Like I want to think this
But
thing is like.
would you be happier with Dutiful Griffin if you could discount it by tapping an artifact or a creature though? Would it have been more playable in that situation?
Yeah, definitely. So like, okay, I'll give this thing a better grade.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go crazy though. I think this thing, considering how tight the constraints are, I'm actually gonna give this. Might be a hot take. I'm gonna give this thing like a C plus.
I'm on C plus too, especially just down to there are some archetypal things with like the red-white archetype that wants to be tapping things, and there's enough just like random commons that give you value when they become tapped in red and white. So where this will have some synergy there in addition to just being solid in a more mid-rangey format, I think this will be better than average.
I think we were just talking about that curve out, it coming down on turn 4, a 4/4 for 4 flying is pretty good. But then, as the game goes on and you have like little map tokens, you have maybe some equipment, clayfire bricks, and you just have all this junk lying around, you're gonna be able to really cast this for like that double white, like mana wise, and then double spell, like the later the game goes on. So it's like then like that's also, pretty good there. So I'm gonna put this at a B.
Just a solid B. I can see that, and I'm definitely gonna build some. I'm gonna try and do some nasty curve outs. Like, I think you could technically get it down on 3.
Yeah.
But
Its upside is B level, like you're saying, John. I just don't think it'll be there consistently enough to quite get to that level.
yeah, we'll see. And
Yeah.
it doesn't die to braid, so that helps
True.
too. What about this one, John?
Spring-loaded saw blades, one colorless and white for an artifact that has flash. Now, when spring-loaded saw blades enters the battlefield, it deals 5 damage to target tapped creature an opponent controls, and it also has craft with artifact for 3 colorless and 1 white. And it's a vehicle 5/5 that crews for 1, but it also has the ability to tap 2 other untapped artifacts you control, and then it becomes an artifact creature until the end of turn. Super sweet.
Is there any part of this card that we don't like?
No.
This thing is absolutely
This is a house.
like a house.
I love this.
Yeah, this is definitely bring me over to white. Because I'm gonna see this, I'm like, I want to play it every single time.
Because it's only 4 mana, and you're getting a 5/5 that like is the most. You could crew it with like your dingleberry like 1-drop thing,
Map tokens.
Yeah, or your map
Yeah,
tokens. Like,
2 map tokens you're not using.
you just-
Oh, I have a
you
5/5.
just plug your map tokens in, and it powers up the blade wheel chariots and things like, like. I think this is cutting into a B plus for me. I can't imagine this thing ever not being
Yeah.
insane.
Is it
This
because of the
is-
blades?
Yeah, it's just cutting right through the C tier, the D and C tiers.
Yeah, this is so much value. Every single thing about this is just so much value that it all adds up to B plus. We would already play like
You'd probably just play the front half.
you probably would just play
Yeah.
the front half. It
It'd
was
be
just
really
the
good.
front half, but you have this entire back half.
The back half for 4, I would probably play as a card.
Exactly.
It's a 4 mana 5/5 with the most insignificant condition.
Yeah. So 2 playable cards stapled together on an artifact as well just adds up to a house.
Yeah, absolute house. What about you guys? I'm on B plus.
B plus.
Like B plus for me, yeah.
Light B plus for me. Okay, good. And then with that, we move on to something that will almost certainly not be as good as that. Vanguard of the Rose. It's 1 and a white for a 3/1 vampire knight. You can pay 1, sacrifice another creature or artifact, and Vanguard of the Rose gains indestructible until end of turn. Tap it. But you can do it at instant speed, so you can do it on blocks.
Yep.
Man, usually this effect is like somehow gated by like counters in some way. They don't just let you do it as much as you want. So this thing is just and you can always do it more than once. So if for some reason you just want to be sacking your stuff, you can. This thing is the like tap out the sack outlet that I want.
This is not a Danto Vanguard, but it's pretty damn close actually.
You can even attack and then it's tapped, but then just tap, you sack and do it anyway.
And to be fair, sacking another creature or artifact is a significant cost, but if you are the type of deck that wants to be doing that naturally, having a 3/1 that can swing in and potentially trade with things every turn, because if you attack with it, the tap it does nothing, seems pretty good.
This thing is a B for me.
I'm actually gonna go a B minus.
I'm a B
And
minus.
it's just because I think, like, how much is that just giving it indestructible, like, worth for a 3/1? You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's like,
Yeah.
there's only a few things that I'm willing to sacrifice for my 3/1s, and it's not like that crazy. You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
this, but he is also 2 mana, so I'm not saying like he's bad by any means. But I think just like as the game goes on, that's not really like oh yeah, I'm just gonna keep them on the board forever. At one point, I'm just gonna be like, okay, whatever. My 3/1 dies.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
That's totally fair, and I'm with you there, John. But aggro decks, this is your attacky 2-drop with
Mhm.
random value.
Sack
addition
decks.
to it.
This is your
Sack
sack
decks.
outlet.
This is one of your sack outlets. Bartolome. There are a couple other just really cheap sack outlets that are really strong, but this is another like really nice sack outlet.
I'll go B minus.
Yeah.
Okay.
I went B minus.
Sounds good. How about this one, Nate?
Bat Colony, 2 and a white for an enchantment. When Bat Colony ETBs, create a 1/1 black bat creature token with flying for each mana from a cave spent to cast it. Whenever cave ETB is under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control.
Hey, it affects the board.
Me sometimes.
How many caves?
A lot of people have been raving about this card, but for me, I'm just like, so you have it in your hand, and you have one, and you want to have two of like the 2 and 17 caves. You know, I think it just lines up like very weird. I feel like in a lot of games, like you'll have this in your hand, and you're just like, well, I can't cast it because I don't have any caves.
Oh, this is a build around card for me. In the right deck with like 7 or 8 caves, this thing could be a huge house because it gives you value for caves you've already played and caves you will play in the future. Other than that, I think this is pretty unplayable.
I think I'm on. I mean, I'll give this a D minus, but I'm really looking at the bats a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. I just heard like so much hype around this card.
I don't
And
care.
it's like, how many caves do you think you're gonna have? Like, because I don't think like
Like
this
how many
is.
tap lands? You can't even curve out of this thing. It's all
Yeah.
tap lands. This thing sucks.
And then it's like you have to pay for it with the caves. So it's like, what? You're gonna spend 3 mana? You have like you played one cave, so you're gonna pay 3 mana for a 1/1. And then you're just like, all right, I hope to draw another cave so later on I could get,
I hope I get
a
these.
+1/+1
I hope I
counter
get
on
my
that
tap
bat.
lands. Yeah.
I don't think you're playing it in that deck. This thing is like a build around, like a mega build
Okay,
around.
what are you giving it, Nate?
It's a mega build around B minus.
What is the what is it telling your average white deck?
In your average white deck, this is stone unplayable.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm giving it a D minus. I don't like this card.
Okay.
I think this is like a trap. I think so many people are hyped about
I know.
this.
I know. Well, they'll learn. It's okay. Or maybe they won't. Okay, let me switch to these. There we go. Who's got this one? I guess I got it. Kinjali's Dawn Runner. It's 3 and a white for a 1/1. It's a human scout. But hold on. It has double strike, and when it enters the battlefield, it explores. I think this thing is gas.
Yeah, it's hard to hate on explore creatures, and then you have some more map tokens. Want to throw some more +1/+1 counters on here?
Hey, how do you feel about a 3-mana 2/2 double strike surveil one?
It's either 3 mana 2/2 double strike surveil one or 3 mana 1/1 double strike draw a card.
Draw land.
Both of them, big fan.
Yeah, this thing is sick.
Sick.
I mean, I'm much more on board for that 2/2 surveil. I'm probably gonna be a little disappointed if this draws land.
Yeah, but but then again, you have a land now, so you'll be able to wipe your sufferings, your tears of suffering, on the fact that you might be flooding, but you're certainly not screwing.
This is a high stakes explore, but if you can build around this even a little bit and have it explore even one more time or put one more counter on it, suddenly it's a guaranteed 2/2, if not 3/3 double strike. This thing becomes a huge problem really fast.
And hey, how many times
That's true.
Your opponent, like, this is definitely gonna be one of those cards where you're gonna be swearing a lot. It's just like, are you kidding me? And nothing. Like, I needed the one time. But like, let's be real. Like, your opponent plays this. You placed your 3-drop. It's like some dirtle like thing. Then they untap and they attack you with this. And they have 4 mana up. Are you blocking it? Even if it's a 1/1, are you really?
Is that really a good idea
No.
against most
I
decks?
think it's B.
But I'm not sweating it for taking 2.
Exactly. Well, yeah, but double strike always plays good in explores. I'm giving this a B.
Yep, solid B for me.
I'll go B
I love
minus.
this
I
thing.
think that this is like that high stakes, and this definitely can get out of hand. But
Yeah.
I think you're gonna definitely need like cards to support that.
Yeah.
Tell me about this one, John.
So this is Might of the Ancestors. 2 colorless and a white for an enchantment. At the beginning of combat on your turn, creatures you control get +2/+0 and vigilance. I think this is pretty all right. Especially in that red white and that white green deck.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna go ahead and go for those attacks. Those creatures usually have big butts, so having the vigilance, I think, is very relevant here. Um, and that's really what I have to say about this card. I feel like it doesn't do anything. If you're playing like the blue white kind of decks. But I think in the right deck, this is definitely like a C plus kind of card.
This is a D plus until someone proves otherwise.
Someone's going to have to beat me with this for me to legitimately think it's good.
Like, I see where the upside is, and sure, you only put it in the decks where you think you're gonna be ahead on board. But it's 3 mana, do nothing. We're pretty close. I'm on D plus just because I don't know, like, it is powerful to give it. Maybe give 2 creatures, persistent +2/+0 and Vig. It's pretty good.
I mean, it's one creature only on your turn.
Oh, it's one creature.
One.
It's one creature.
It's one creature.
Oh, no.
Wow! I
Yeah,
totally.
guys.
All right. Okay. Green.
Yeah,
Never mind.
guys.
Yeah,
I've
I
been
totally.
thinking
I
about
read
how
that
this
and I
leopard
just
looks
read that
really
wrong.
nice
Yeah,
in the
the green.
background.
The green. I guess green is the new purple. All right. Moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always think it was the whole board. Oh man.
No. If
That-
it was
that
the whole
actually-
board,
I was
it'd
just
be
like creatures you
playable.
control get vigilance.
Yeah.
Plus one plus
Thanks a
zero,
lot,
like,
John.
let's
Way to
go.
read the cards. All right, Nate. You got the pup.
Mischievous pup. 2 and a white for a 3/1 with flash. It's a dog. Good
Wait.
boy.
Can I retcon my score there?
I gave everyone. I put G for everybody. I put good art for everybody.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I got you. I got you, bro.
When Mischievous Pup ETBs, return up to 1 other target permanent you control to its owner's hand.
Oh, sweet! It's stockpiling celebrant, but cuter and less scries.
1 less toughness.
And more flash.
But flash, so blanks removal.
And this one actually matters for blanking removal. Like,
Yeah.
most of the time, it's like you're blanking removal to kill your own guy, but this
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
matters.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of removal in this set.
And it's a lot of the removal except for Braid. Is sorcery speed.
Yeah.
Sorcery speed, expensive, and
So like you leave this guy up, and like they spend their turn trying to remove your thing, and then they're like, nope, pop.
Yeah.
This guy
Yeah, I like
definitely
this.
pretty mischievous.
Yeah.
he's definitely
He is a 3-mana,
mischievous
3/1
pup, but a
flash.
good boy.
Definite, the goodest of boys. It is a 3-mana 3/1. It doesn't block well, and sometimes you just need to play a blocker. But it's pretty good block. I'll give this a B minus. Pretty good, strong card. Gonna see playing. Gonna get blown out by it. Gonna blow people out with it.
B minus, yeah.
I think I'm on C+. I'm really happy to have 1 of these, but I don't really want more than 1. So that just barely keeps out of B tier.
Okay, yeah, that's probably fair, but I'm gonna stick to my grade. Malamet War Scribe, 3 white for a 4/3 cat warrior. When it enters the battlefield, creatures you control get +2/+1 until end of turn. I have 2 words for you, or 3 words. Dies to a Braid. How do you guys feel about your 5-drop dying to a Braid?
I don't like that, but I like my team getting +2/+1 with a creature attached to it.
I would much rather Inspired Charge come stapled to a 4/3 and be slightly more expensive than be a spell that does nothing else.
I don't know.
And it doesn't die to a Braid immediately because it does buff itself.
That's true. Well, can you respond to the trigger of it entering the battlefield?
Maybe?
I think it would, because it enters the
Probably,
battlefield,
yeah.
the trigger goes on the stack,
Yeah.
you can abrade it.
Probably. But even still, like, it probably doesn't have haste, so I
Okay,
don't know
but at
why
least
you're...
behind some value.
don't know why you're abrading
Yeah, it
this
still
thing.
came in and did value.
Yeah, okay. This is actually decent.
Yeah.
I think this is a
It did
decent,
the value.
this is a decent finisher. It's like like a CC plus?
I put it at a solid B, to be honest. Like in any aggro deck in this set, or that's running white, you have a white board, swing in with that.
You ever play
like
more?
them.
But are you ever playing more than one of them?
I play 2.
I don't
play
think
2 in
would.
an
I
aggro
think
deck.
I'd play one and then get annoyed I don't know, it gets past me.
I would like exactly one of these in my like aggressive white decks, which means it lands at about a C plus for me.
Okay, I'll give it a C because I'm just like I don't know. I'm greedy for the more mana something costs, the more greedy I am for it. But I respect your guys' thoughts too. And with that, we finish up the white, and as long as you guys are both good, we can dive right in to the next color, which would be blue.
Let's go to
Let's
blue.
do it.
All right, so we got a blue here. What's going on? Help. Why am I not getting? I understand why.
Yeah.
I have to do this. And look like this. Does that look good on the screen? Let me just double check.
That looks like a spyglass siren.
You got this one, John?
For 1 blue and a siren pirate with flying, who's a 1/1, and ETBs creates a map token.
Just put it in my deck.
Yeah.
Playing
Oh
as
my
many of
god.
these as I can get my hands on. It's a pirate. It's a 1/1 flying. It's got half a card stapled to it as well.
I'm gonna be
I'm super down. This is a solid beat.
Solid B. Yeah, I'm taking every single one. Put those
cool.
spyglass sirens.
Want to read this one?
Yeah, waterlogged Hulk artifact for 1 blue. Tap it to mill a card. That's all it does. Craft with island, 3 and a blue. Flips into watertight gondola. An artifact vehicle, 4/4 Vig. Crew 1. Descend 8. It can't be blocked as long as there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard.
4 mana, 4/4 Vig, Crew 1. Not the worst. Not as good as the other one, but pretty good. Stapled to, honestly, like, if it's for a cantrip, I'm okay with my I have a lot more forgiveness for my cantrips if they cost me 1 mana.
Here's the thing, though. It's not a cantrip. It only mills.
Yeah, but, like, I think if this is in your deck, you care.
Yeah.
About milling.
Yeah.
You're right.
That
This-
matters.
This only really belongs in that black blue.
Yeah.
Descent.
Which, so it lives and dies by that archetype specifically. This is a hidden gold card.
Correct.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
but in that deck, so assuming you have the reasonable like thoughts to put that in the deck, this card is, I don't know, it's like
Fine.
I'd say like a D plus because it doesn't. I mean, maybe yeah, I'll go D plus.
This is a like build around CC plus that for most decks ends up. Honestly, I'm gonna put it at a D, but I'm just not super high on the blue black archetype.
Yeah, if you're blue black, I think this definitely goes to C plus. If you're not in blue black, then it's looking really nice with those merfolk.
Okay, so what's your guys' ratings? I got some mixed signals there.
D.
D for Nate. I'm going D plus. John.
I'm gonna hope that this black blue archetype works out, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it as C plus.
Wow, that might be the biggest delta of reviews. So far.
Only again, only in that black blue archetype, but in every other deck, it has nice art.
Well, John, I hope you can chart a course to a decent blue-black deck. Because for 1 and a blue at sorcery speed, you can draw 2 cards, then discard a card unless you attack this turn.
When discarding a card is actually sometimes upside, this is often 2 mana draw 2 cards and descend. Yes. I want this.
I like this.
It's
Yeah,
a little bit
this
do nothingy, but I mean, you guys do. It does. The upside is there, and it's cheap. I'll go C. You know what? This is about the highest you're ever gonna get me on a 2 mana sorcery that doesn't do anything to affect the board. But this thing is the upside is definitely there, and you're gonna put a bunch of these in the deck, and man, if blue black is there, it's really there. I'll
But
go
this
C.
also, again, like in your aggro decks, like in blue red,
You just draw 2.
this is just when you're attacking, you're just gonna be like, okay, I pay 2, draw 2 cards.
Yeah. 2 mana sorcery to draw 2 is really significant, and in blue black, when you might want to discard a card to descend, it's all upside. I'm a big fan of this. It's held back a little by not affecting the board, but if you look at it more as like one of your few value card draw spells in the deck, I do think you really want at least 1 or 2 of these in a deck. So I'm on C plus, pushing B minus.
Wow.
I'll go for that B minus.
Okay, you guys are feeling it. I'm okay. I thought I was gonna be the one on top, but apparently not. That's okay though, because sometimes that it is what it is. What's the next one? I think it's
That one.
Eaten by Piranhas. You got this one, John.
All right, eaten by piranhas. I love the art, first of all.
I do. I also.
Yeah.
That
It's
is just
beautiful.
like,
It's really nice.
it's weird that it's like eaten by piranhas and they're not dead. So that's a weird
The
like
piranhas are
flavor
like
wise.
water, and the skeleton's like ah.
Yeah. He looks totally dead, but it's like, you know what? It's gonna be an enchantment with flash, and the enchanted creature loses all abilities and is a 1/1 black skeleton for one colorless and a blue.
It is ill advised to swim where even the river heralds do not.
Yeah, I
Is
mean,
this just like mean commander removal that actually is playable in limited?
I think this could
Yeah,
definitely go in
it's both.
commander. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you're gonna get rid of their commander without getting rid of their commander. It's just gonna sit on the board. But yeah, this it's cool because uh you could either use it like the I think the flash on this is what makes this really cool.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's also an enchantment, so it's gonna affect that descend, makes it like that much more powerful.
Okay, but okay, a cautionary tale of warning from the past. One might recall a certain white card by the name of Stroke by Midnight,
Mm-hmm.
and it turned out that giving them that 1/1 really ended up mattering, especially
But
in a
it's
set
not
full.
replacing their thing with a 1/1. And because this you can use as a combat trick. So they'll block, you turn their thing into a
Ooh.
1/1, and it dies, and you get this. This is significantly better than Stroke of Midnight.
I still, in the set full of the sack
And
mechanics,
a mana less.
I think this card is good. I just, I think that holds me back a little. I'll give this a B minus though. It's still really strong.
Yeah, I'm on B minus here. I
I'm
really
on B
like this. I
minus.
don't like totally love it.
Yeah, I mean, because the creature's still there and they could still get rid of the enchantment, and you
Yep.
kind of have to like, play into that combat trick too.
Speaking of the creature they will not be getting rid of, we have Hermitic Nautilus. For 1 and a blue, it is a 1/4 artifact creature Nautilus with vigilance, and you can pay 1 and a blue to give its +3/-3 until end of turn. House.
This is a premium artifact blocker of in an artifact deck. If you could play this on turn 2 every game, I think you would. It blocks forever, it pings for damage, it can randomly be a 4/1 if you need it, and it's an artifact for those ETB triggers and other value to go along there. I'm a huge fan of this.
I think it is. If it was a single blue, I would go. The sky would be the limit. I think it's a little.
What?
I think if I'm saying, as in it was a single blue for the ability.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, that card would be insane.
That
No,
card
yeah.
would
I
be
would say
broken.
obviously. I'd say if it was a single blue to activate the ability, the sky would be the limit. I think it's a
Yeah.
little held back. Then being
Yeah.
that still, it's a house. I'll give it a B minus.
Yeah, B minus sounds good on here. I think it's cool. Like,
I'm with you
I
there.
think if it was just like this, without the word vigilance, I'd be like, I don't want to play this
Yeah.
card.
Yeah.
But this
No.
is like, this is so just like, I don't want to attack now. Even if I might get like one guy, one guy gets blocked by this is not going to trade, and then my other guy gets in. It's like, okay, now I'm tapped out, or like my blocks
Yeah.
aren't up, and it's gonna smack me in the face
Yeah.
for 4/1, and then still block next turn.
And guess what? You could have smack in, and then on blocks, you can always flip it and trade for their guy if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
So
just has
good.
so many questions of your opponent that I'm a big fan, especially because of the vigilance.
Yeah.
B minus.
Lodestone Needle. It's a 1 and a blue for an artifact with flash. When it enters the battlefield, tap up to 1 target artifact or creature and put 2 stun counters on it, and you can craft it for 2 and a blue. Into Guidestone Compass. You can pay 1 and tap Guidestone Compass, and to target creature you control explores, activate only as a sorcery. So it is a repeatable source of explores.
That seems really strong. Being able to like explore each turn for 1 mana, so it basically becomes like an infinite map token.
This card is hard because the front is so like embarrassing, but the back is there. This reminds me. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of some of those battles from that were like had a little bit embarrassing.
Ooh, that's a
frontside.
good, that's a good
But like,
analogy.
if you were able to kind of get there on the battle, you know, like the backside was like really like substantial.
Yeah.
And this is substantial, and the fact that you control when it flips, I think there's a home for this in like a control deck.
Yeah.
Which I can't believe I'm saying because it's the unplayable
The,
tap card.
the front side is looking extremely purple, you guys.
Yeah.
But the back side, if
He's destroying the purple there, Nate. He's
the
like
backside
willing
is
it out of
destroying
there.
The purple and just yeeting it out, and I love this backside a lot. So if you look at it, like, you get some marginal value for 2 mana, and then it's a total of 2+3 and an artifact from your graveyard gone for Guidestone Compass. Are we playing that?
I think I'm playing that. I don't know. The more you say, the more words you say, the more I kind of go down. But I still think it actually has a decent amount of play. There's a world where this thing is like a B+, A- card, but I don't think I'm committed.
Okay, I wouldn't go A-
But
for
I'm
this
saying
guy.
no, like because if it's the right meta and you just think this is
Yeah.
free, you just basically do this for free, and you know you get in and you get a bunch of them going.
If the meta is slow enough, this thing I could see going up to B+.
The upside is there. It just doesn't. I'm giving it a C-. I don't know. This card has truly baffled me.
I'm gonna play the safe side and say C+. I think it could I think I'm not gonna cry over, you know, even just playing that front side in like a very like well-built tempo deck. And then to have that backside, you know.
I'm
I
gonna
think I'm gonna feel super
I'm
solid
gonna
there.
put it on solid C. It's either gonna go up to a B+ or down to a D-.
Yep, that's exactly how
I'm
I
going
feel.
directly in the middle.
That-
C for me.
So you said C+, John?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, this will be a good one to revisit because this might be our largest disparity between everybody.
Yeah.
C for me.
Oh, you said C?
Yes.
Oh, well, never mind. What I said doesn't matter. Staunch Crewmate, 1 and a blue for a 2/1 human pirate. When Staunch Crewmate enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact or pirate from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest of the bottom of your library in a random order.
Sweet.
Oh. How many pirates you guys need to run to make this guy hit?
Artifacts.
Not even just pirates, artifacts.
Okay, so this thing is basically 2 mana,
So,
draw a card.
In most decks, this is 2 mana, 2/1, draw a card. Like, if you have like 8 or so artifacts, you've got like you'll hit the vast majority of the time with 8 or more artifacts or pirates, which you're blue, you should be doing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If it was a bear, I'd give it a B. It's not, I give it a C+. Good card.
Yeah. C+ has the upside to be a solid B in the right deck. I'm averaging out to like C+, because in some blue decks this is unplayable.
In what blue decks? In like only in like blue-green, I think.
The problem
is not where you want to see this card.
Yeah, but it's just a 2/1, so the problem is it just doesn't.
2/1 draw you a card?
Yeah, but it's fragile.
Doesn't do that for you?
It's pretty good. I don't know.
It's
good.
2 mana.
It's good. Yeah. No, I think it's a strong card. C+. I'll run a bunch of
I'm gonna put a B on this guy.
Okay. John put a B on his name. Putting some respect on his name.
Yeah. He's my crewmate.
Hey, you got this one, John.
All right, Confounding Riddle. That's 2 colorless and a blue for an instant. And you get to choose one. Look at the top 4 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, and the rest into your graveyard. Or counter target spell unless its controller pays a whole 4. Or generic.
This is just better Supreme Will. This is one of the best commons or uncommons I've seen this entire set. Bar none.
This thing is
This thing is insane.
It just does exactly what you want for a counter spell. It's like it's either a really big annoying counter spell or it's like a draw spell. So it's like you hold this up, they don't play anything, great. You get to draw like a really relevant card. Or they do play something, you're like, no, get rid of that. And 4 is enough that it's like they really have to have a lot of mana.
Yeah, because in the late game, this isn't a dead draw. This is better Supreme Will. This feeds Descend because the rest of the cards go into your graveyard, not on the bottom of your library.
I have a question for you guys, and this is really going to help me make my decision.
Uh-huh.
If you see this in a braid, which one are you taking?
I definitely take a braid. But if I'm already in this blue black descent,
But I'm just saying, pick one, pack one.
pick one, pack one. Oh, a braid, easy.
For me, it's actually close.
It's close, but I do think I would take a braid.
I would lean a braid. I think braid's a little stronger, but this is strong enough to make A- tier for me.
I respect it. I think though that a braid. This is a strong match gathering card. I'm gonna go B plus though.
I'm gonna put it at a solid B.
A minus. All right, there we go. That's what I like to see right there.
It's not quite a braid, but it's damn close.
It is close.
I'm gonna basically want it in every blue deck.
Oh yeah, 100%.
At least one.
I will play as many of these as I can find.
I don't know.
I don't know as many.
After
I think
like 5, I think, or like probably 3 or 4.
But it's an uncommon, so you're not gonna see
Sure. But I would play 8 of braids, so
Sure.
there you go.
Yeah.
Merfolk Cave Diver, Nate.
2 and a blue for a 2/4. Merfolk Scout. Whenever a creature you control explores, Merfolk Cave Diver gets +1/+0 until end of turn and can't be blocked this turn.
Sweet.
I'm stoked about this thing just being a 2/4, and then sometimes it's a 3/4 unblockable. That's pretty cool.
It's like when you're doing something that you want to do anyways, you're getting double.
Exactly. It's
Yeah,
like, it doesn't take much to make a 3-mana 2/4 good.
It does feel a little win more to make a 3-mana 2/4 even better.
But like, are you really complaining?
No,
Like, what's the downside?
No, but unblockable too. Like that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
I'll give this. I mean, it's a 3-drop, so it gets a little penalized, and it doesn't have a lot of synergy. I'll give it a C+.
Yeah, C+ for me.
I'll go B-. I like him. I think he gets there.
Jon is feeling very generous
He
today.
them. Yeah,
Used
I
all
don't
his
know.
generosity
Feeling
on
good
the-
today.
on that counter spell.
Yeah, don't use my
Maybe it's from
generosity
looking
often.
at very subpar commons.
For so long. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is
Like-
just a 2/4 with not like a lot of synergy. I don't know.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, okay. Moving on. Zoetic. What is this one? Zoetic Glyph. 2 and a blue for an enchantment. You enchant an artifact. Enchanted artifact is a golem creature with base power and toughness 5/4. In addition to its other types, and when it is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, discover 3. Whoa.
So there's the good side, which is if you can put this on a map token and it resolves, this is insane. And if you have to put it on a creature and your opponent removes it at instant speed, this is terrible.
I don't know. This thing has well and truly won me over. I am like, this thing is so insane that like the 1 in 3 or 4 times I get blown out, I'm kind of okay with it, because the other times, man, you are just burying your opponent.
Yeah. If this thing resolves, you are burying.
Like,
your
imagine
opponent
you
in
just
value.
the simplest curve out ever. You don't play anything. You play like a cave on 1, right? Or just a land. On 2, you play the 1/2 vigilance flyer dude in blue, and then turn 3 you just dunk out with like you just bonk in for 5, and they remove
5 in the air. Yeah,
and
that's pretty
have
insane.
another
and
two
then you like discover 3. Like, you're just burying somebody.
Yeah.
And so like the 1 in 3 or 4 times you get blown out, like, I don't know, it seems like I'd be like, okay, fair enough, you got me.
I'm above the median. Like the like mean possibility for this card is pretty mid because the bottom's really bad, but you're gonna hit the top end so much that I am decently high on
I'm
this.
pretty good. I'm gonna lose my mind and just let myself dream. I'm gonna give this card a B.
A D?
A B.
Oh, okay.
I love this. I know it shouldn't probably be a B, but I do not care. I will, if I ever will have a deck where I open like 6 of these, I am playing every single one and every cheap artifact I can get my little mitts on. And this is gonna be my late game plan.
And then just watch him have a hand of all of this.
They're gonna
and
have 6 of
no
braids,
artifacts.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's just like, I'm waiting on that
They're
artifact.
gonna play the white uncommon and just XX white destroy all artifacts, and you're gonna be.
Hey, but he's gonna discover.
Okay
He's
with
gonna
that.
discover 3 into another one.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Kinda okay with that.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna just chain these together. I don't care. I'm giving it a B.
All right, I'll go C plus. I feel very
I'm
satisfied
with
with C
John.
plus.
This is a C plus.
I-
I like this quite a bit, but it's held
I'm
back
giving it a
significantly.
B because of how much happiness it's gonna give me when I like play it in silver and kill someone.
Fair.
All right.
And Kevin, you might just be hurled into history for that take
Oh hell yeah!
because we also got a 3 colorless double blue instant that says counter target artifact or creature spell, discover X, where X is that spell's mana value.
I'm gonna give that segue a B, and I think I'm gonna I think this card is the art is beautiful, but oh man, this thing doesn't have convoke.
Yeah, that 5 mana is a lot. And I remember, there was that convoke counter spell.
But this is not that.
But that convoke counterspell had a draw to discard one stapled to it. That being said, if you can manage to pull this off, it will win games by itself.
Oh yeah, you just.
Yeah.
I mean the other problem is like you discover 5, and like if your average mana value card is like 3, you get like your 2 or 3 drop.
But still, 5 mana counter target spell, get a free 3-drop.
That's still good.
Pretty good. That being
But I
said,
think this is also like that also being said, like this is really easy to see. It's like my opponent left up double blue and 5 mana. I wonder what they have in their
I think
hand.
it's more just like you just
Okay.
pass your turn.
Okay, this is a like player check for people who know what they're doing. Passing with 3 double blue open alarm bells will start going off, and you shouldn't be doing much. But if somebody doesn't know,
Oh yeah, like
this is
they
disgusting.
want a pre-release, people in paper just
Oh, I want to play this in pre-release.
pre-release.
Okay.
I'm playing one of these.
pre-release A minus. Like late into the format, probably like D plus. DD plus, I think. It's just too slow.
I'm on D plus. Yeah. In certain situations, its upside is really, really high, but in most scenarios, it's just blindingly obvious.
And it sucks that it's not counter spell.
Yep.
Like I think counter spell wouldn't be reaching, but it's just specifically artifact or creature.
Yeah.
That hurts.
So yeah, I'd put a C minus.
Okay.
That's fair.
Here we go. C minus for John. Council of Echoes. John.
Council of Echoes is 4 colorless and a double blue for a Spirit Advisor flying 4/4, who also has Descend 4. When it enters the battlefield and there are 4 or more permanents in your graveyard, return up to 1 target non-land permanent other than Council of Echoes to its owner's hand.
Now this is the payoff I've been waiting for to descend.
Yeah.
It's anything, so it can be your opponent's thing.
Correct.
Right. 4/4 flyer that bounces something. I'm not like totally in love with this card.
Oh, you're gonna hit me with my own soapbox right now?
Yeah, I like I don't know for having the Descend 4.
Yeah, it doesn't always happen.
It doesn't always happen.
Especially against aggro when you need it most.
Okay, on turn 6, though, when you're casting this, I think majority of the time you will have Descend 4. And
That's true.
6 mana 4/4 flying is playable, but not great anyways.
I think the 6 mana 4 for flying is unplayable.
Depends on the form.
Yeah.
In
I think
Woe,
this should have been a
unplayable.
4/5.
Yeah, I'm with John on this one. This card is. I think the upside is there, but also like modern magic, blah blah blah, D plus.
Yeah, that's not like you just bounce a card. Like
I think it's
playing unsummoned, that's like worth 1 mana. You're getting 1 mana worth of upside for that. So like a 6 mana 4/4 or a 5 mana 4/4
this
with
is
flying.
This is the Descend control, like, top-end flyer. I'm on C minus. You're not going to want more than one of these, but I think one in the right deck is decently playable.
John, you said D?
D plus.
D plus? Okay, and then C minus for Nate.
Yeah, I'm hoping for that C minus C.
Yeah, Dutiful Griffin would like to have a word with that card.
Yeah.
It needs to do some self-reflection. 4 double blue sorcery. Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control. It has flashback 3 with flashback or 3 in a blue. You may cast a spell from your graveyard for its flashback cost and then exile it. So you get to copy your creature for. I mean, honestly, I don't even want to play the first half. I just want to.
Exactly.
No, I just want
Exactly.
this in my graveyard.
The front side of this 6 mana body double is pretty unplayable, but the flashback value is really significant.
So it's not like a payoff. Okay, I can see
it's
where
a
this
payoff for you self-milling this in your graveyard and then
Okay.
getting a 4 mana body double, which is rate for body doubles. And usually body doubles are pretty good.
Okay, I can actually, and this does not help you with descend because it's not a permanent, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
That's a little sad.
But if you're in
Self
you know,
mill, you kind of.
if you're in self mill, you're okay milling this as a non-permanent the vast majority of the time. So,
Okay,
You want this milled when you're
Yeah,
yeah.
this card is hard. I've never played this effect before. Seems like pretty.
If this was an artifact, I'd put it at B. This is not an artifact.
Yeah, I mean it's like I'm somewhere between like the D and C range. Help me out, Nate. What's this card?
I want to play 1, perhaps 2 in my like blue-black descend control decks. In a lot of decks, this is not great, but blue is controlling enough to where I don't know. I'm gonna go C- on this. On average, some decks will really love having 2 of these and milling them consistently, and some decks won't want to play this at all. So average out to about a C- for me.
I think in blue black, I really don't want to be playing more than 1. If I'm having a sorcery in my blue black deck, the only things I want it to do is get rid of a creature or draw me cards. So I would have to put this honestly at D.
Like with John,
not
I don't
believe.
know. It's just big and slow and kind of gross. Yeah. Okay. Well, it could definitely the upside's there, but I don't know. I'm just not a dreamer like I used to be when I was young. Last blue card we got. You want to take us home, Nate?
Sinuous Benthesaur. 5 and a blue for a 4/4 dinosaur. When Sinuous Benthesaur enters the battlefield, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of caves you control plus the number of caves in your graveyard. Put 2 into your hand and the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order.
It's like they're trying to make the caves payoffs bad.
It's like
I would love this if it drew you X cards.
Oh man, singing.
Why is he 6 mana for a 4/4?
It's 6 mana 4/4 draw 2.
It's because Snowlands were too good, and so they're trying to like compensate.
In Mom, 6 mana 4/4 draw 2 lose 2 in black was playable but not great.
It was like D. It was barely, and this is drawing you caves.
No, this isn't drawing you caves. This is look at the top X, where X depends on the number of caves.
Oh, okay.
Draw 2.
And you don't lose life.
Exactly.
Caves in your grave.
This is like a build around C. On average, this is a 6 mana 4/4 maybe draw card, which is like a D for me.
I'll give it a D. I don't know. I'll believe in the. No, I'm giving it a D minus. And I won't put it in good art because I'm sure someone will beat me with all the caves. But like, what are you on, John?
I'm gonna put D. I'm a cave hater.
Man, that's sad. Oh well, maybe we're wrong. And with that, we finished up blue. Oh my gosh, we are rocking and rolling right now. You guys want to keep going on the black?
I'm ready.
Let's go to black.
Let's get it done. Lead us off, Nate.
Bloodthorn Flail, 1 black for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+1. Now the equip cost is where it gets a little weird. Pay 3 mana or discard a card.
I'm down to try it. I'm gonna just basically consider this to be a weird combat trick. I'll give it a D plus. I don't know. It's 1 mana, and you can equip it for free. And you descend.
So, yeah, I could see you descending, but paying 3.
I'm never paying 3 for this.
If you're paying 3 for this, unless it's the super late game, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, the point is you use it as a descend outlet with some marginal upside, and it also is an artifact. if you care about that. And then if you don't want it, you just pitch it.
Yep.
It's just something to do on turn 1 that gives you value.
I'd rather play the red artifact than play this.
I think I don't know. I'm interested in this. The fact that you can equip it for free and it's like a like I don't look at this as an equipment. Even though it is, I look at it as like an outlet.
A movable combat trick in a way.
But if you have this in your opening hand, you're like instantly mulling.
You don't have to. You can just put it down there and it's an artifact for like
Yeah,
your
you
artifact matter
could
stuff.
just leave it there for a while, and then later on, when you either have access cards or excess mana, then you can equip it.
Or if you're an aggro deck,
For a negligible effect,
or
like
you just
+2,
I don't know. I
+1.
just think, or you just put it on a. It's like you just put it on a creature and you're in your aggro deck. I don't know. I'm interested in it. I'm not saying it's busted.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's a D plus.
I'm
saying like I'm
Yeah.
curious about it. I think you'll end up playing this more often than you think.
I'm with Kev on this one. This is a D plus for me. I'm interested. I don't think it'll be super busted, but in the right deck, I want to give this a shot.
Yeah.
I'm more willing to, because there's no real benefit to discarding when you could just be milling. So I'd go D minus. This is very close to nice art.
I think John's gonna end up right, but
Won't surprise me at all.
But it's until we. Oops. Okay. Well, don't mind me. I'm just dirtling the rankings over here. So B minus. I think Nate is right, or John is right, but also I don't know. I want to believe that eventually we'll get a playable equipment. Bitter Triumph.
Ooh.
1 and a black for an instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, discard a card or pay 3 life. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Ew.
Yeah, this is gross.
Hell yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Give me this.
Okay, where's Bloodthorn Fellows? I'm gonna put it in good art real quick.
Yeah, right?
This
This
thing
is
is
what I'd discard a
sick.
card for.
This is sickeningly good. Oh man. There are not many Magic the Gathering cards I would take over this.
Now, it does get a little risky at paying 3 life. You're not going to want to be paying that 3 life against an aggro deck, but then being able to just pitch a land and like even in standard where you're having like go for the throat, can't deal with like some artifacts, and there's always like this kind of cost that you have to pay for 2 mana removal. At this, you may be getting an upside with that discard a card.
I don't think it quite is as good as a Braid, so it seems a Braid has become the gatekeeper at A- for me, so I'll give this a B+. It's a good card.
I would definitely put this over a Braid.
Wow.
Wow, I respect it. This is a B- for me, simply because playing too many of them gets scary, but I will play, at an uncommon level, I will happily play 2 or 3 of these and take them very highly, but 4 or 5 of them get scary.
Now, I put it over a Braid, but I think I put a Braid at B+. So I'm also going to put this at B+, but I'm also just going to add another plus.
B+.
B++.
Isn't that just A- with extra steps?
Pretty.
Yes.
Okay, I'm giving you an A.
But this doesn't win you the game, so can't put it.
You can put it in A+. It's a Braid wins you the just because the card doesn't deal 20 doesn't mean if you blow out someone's turn 3 put the enchantment thingy discover guy on, that's kind of winning you the game.
Oh, it's a B+ for me, not a
Did
B-.
I give you a B-? Oh, B+.
Yeah.
Okay, Canonized in Blood. Nate?
1 and a black for an enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, if you descended this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Pay 5 black, sack it, make a 4/3 white and black vampire demon creature token with flying.
Next. This thing is a D. It's doesn't do anything. This card.
So I really like his purple outfit,
Ooh, I don't know. I think this could kind of get there.
Here it is with the 10 mana. It's 2 mana, do nothing.
It does.
How many sets in a
nothing.
row have we had a 2-mana enchantment that gives your stuff counters and it was completely unplayable?
Do you really want to play a 2+7 mana 4/3 flying?
I only put it here because I put it in D because someone's gonna, I don't know. I don't know. I
If
maybe
you're descending every turn,
I'll D- for me.
you're gonna
You keep
double
talking. I'm
spell.
gonna start commenting on how purple he is.
Okay,
I'm
okay. Put him
commenting
at a
on how purple he
put
is.
him at a C minus for me. C
C
minus.
minus.
C
Oh
minus.
my
Oh
goodness.
my purple.
One of you guys is a complete idiot, and I'm halfway in the middle. Deep Cavern Bat is 1 and a black for a 1/1 flying lifelink bat. When it enters the battlefield, look at your opponent's hand. You may exile a non-land card from it until Deep Cavern Bat leaves the battlefield.
Yes,
The
please.
first shriek locates the prey, the second immobilizes it. Gosh, what a mean card. I'm gonna play this against my friends in
So you
paper.
think
And
you
they're
had a
gonna
good
be
curve
why
there
are
now,
these
did
cards in
you?
your deck?
What?
I know, I'm saying I'm gonna play this against my friends in paper, and I'm gonna look at their hand like, why are you playing all these cards? Why? Are you
Oh, okay. I thought you were playing this and asking.
No. This thing is sweet, and it's just a...
Mesmeric Fiend is already like Vintage Cube playable, and this is literally better. It's better Mesmeric Fiend because it has flying and lifelink, and that thing's just a 1/1 ground creature.
This is gross.
House. This thing is sick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it. It is a flying lifelink 1/1, so I can't go crazy about it. But man, this thing is so good. I'll give it a B.
I love this guy. Solid B.
Hey, this gets rid of the abrade.
It does.
It does.
That's really good.
It kills abrade.
It does well to deal with the first abrade, but what will it do about the second one? You know. What do you
Now you're having to use an abrade to save the abrade.
Exactly. An abrade for an abrade. Where you at, John?
I like it at a solid B. I'm gonna take this guy.
Yeah, me too. Visage. Where's this card? John.
Visage of Dread. 1 colorless and a black for an artifact. When a Visage of Dread enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an artifact or creature from it. That player discards that card. And it also has Craft with 2 creatures for 5 colorless and a black for a 5/4 menace dinosaur skeleton horror. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, you may mill 2 cards.
House.
Yeah, this.
I'm all on board with this.
If I'm gonna not do something on turn 2 that affects the board, this is the thing.
This is what I
You
want
want
to
to know
do.
why? Because I'm gonna look directly at their hand and look at their best curve play and be like, "That's no longer. You're not curving out anymore." If my opponent starts counting against me, that counting is going to be quickly halted by this.
And it flipping into, like, usually the upside on this is pretty marginal, but the upside of being able to craft it in the super, like, you to a 5/4 menace that can mill you for 2 to feed your descend is really nice.
And you can do it with your graveyard creatures.
Exactly.
That's sweet. They're definitely gonna be there.
Yeah.
And you're fueling the descend, with its attack and enters the battlefield. That's awesome.
Yeah.
This is a sweet Magic the Gathering card. How many copies you guys gonna be playing of this? 3 or 4?
I play 3. I play 3.
I think about 3 is the right number, yeah.
Okay, B minus for me.
Yeah, B minus.
I'd go A minus.
Whoa!
I'll go Visage of Dread A minus.
Is that your first A?
He gave Bitter Triumph an A minus.
I may have one earlier, probably.
Oh, you did. You gave Bitter Triumph an A. Okay, A minus for John. He's on the A train. Good grades for these guys. Speaking of something that's not an A, Malicious Eclipse.
I didn't get Bitter Triumph an A minus. I gave it a B plus plus.
Okay.
Same shit, dude.
Malicious Eclipse.
No.
Gray, black. Sorcery. All creatures you get -2/-2 until end of turn. If a creature an opponent controls would die this turn, exile it instead. Okay. So I cheated a little bit. I watched Circovitz. He does Magic Numbers podcast. Really highly recommend him. This kills about 15 to 20% of creatures in the format.
Oh no.
So not the greatest thing. It has it plays a little bit. It's sideboard playable. I don't think this is ever ending up in my main.
This is the definition of a sideboard card.
I'll give this a D- because if something terrible happens, it's in there. But this is something for best of 3.
Yep, D-. Useful sideboard card in the right matchup.
Okay. Soul Coil Viper, Nate.
2 and a black for a 2/3 snack. Pay a black, tap, sack it, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Activate only as a sorcery. So this is a 3-mana 2/3, and it's a snack for what it's worth. That pay 1, tap it, and sack it later on to get your biggest dude back, and if it would die, exile it instead. Solid.
I love this
cycle
thing.
dude.
Now this is
Solid.
a 3-drop right here. Oh my
He's
gosh.
looking like a snack.
This thing is sick. Cause you just played in the early game. Like I know the Jimmies out there are gonna be like, I'm not letting this guy go out because he might die to a braid. So I'm gonna wait till the late game. I am like slamming this on turn 3, or I'll trade it off. Then I top deck in the late game. They have to like remove it, or I get like my dude back, my bomb.
Yeah.
Holy moly!
This is slightly understated for a 3-drop, but the ability is quite strong.
This is like what I want to be doing on turn 3
Yeah.
or turn like 11. I don't know.
I want to turn 2
Now-
cycle, go get my land. Turn 3, play this guy. Turn 4, go get that dude I just cycled away.
Now it does need to live a turn in order for you to be able to use its ability on turn 11. However, yeah, what John's talking about with the plane cycling or discard to one of the other effects, like a really big creature, and then turn 4 just go get it back, is very strong.
Like that's a real thing that's going to happen to people, and it's going to be good.
Yeah.
This is a strong card. Nate's right, it is a 2/3, so it can't be too crazy, but like man, like I see this guy in like early in pack 1 or 2, like I'm gonna try.
I'm a quaking in my boots, I'll tell you that.
I'm doing the thing. I'm gonna give this thing a B. This is a strong card.
This is a B- for me, simply because you need things to get back for this to be good, but I still really like him.
Yeah, I'm also gonna go B- simply because he is a little, and you need a way to to get your thing actually back.
Okay, fair enough. Stinging Cave Crawler, 2 and a black for a 1/3 insect horror with Death Touch. Descend 4. Whenever Stinging Cave Crawler attacks, if there are 4 more permanent cards in your graveyard, you may draw a card and lose a life.
It's not a may.
Oh, you draw a card and you lose a life.
So be a little careful with that.
I'm never going to be careful with that.
You're you. You don't read the cards. That's my job.
I'm going to be attacking with this every single turn of the game.
When you're at like descend 49 or 39, and you're like, I'm gonna draw a card.
I will. I have known myself out before, and I'll do it again.
Truly the fathomless descend player right here.
I am. I fathom not my descent. Caverns uninhabited by mycoids are often infested with worse. What is this thing? Like, it's a 1/3 Death Touch. Usually doesn't play that great. The descend payoff is there.
The descend payoff is pretty significant because it is an attack trigger. This thing will likely trade for something with at least 3 power, draw you a card.
This is a bread and butter C for me. I'll put a playset in, and they're solid. But, you know, there's better things out there than a 1/3 Death Touch that draws me cards and dies.
That's the cool thing about it, though. It's like you're either the fact that you don't have to actually connect with this makes this, I think, really powerful.
Okay.
That it's like you're either gonna let your opponent keep drawing cards, or you're gonna trade, you know, a 3 or above, like a 3 mana cost or above creature.
On turn 3, this is just attacking as a 1/3, so it's putting almost no.
Well,
pressure
on turn 3, you're probably not attacking with it.
Right, but
turn
it's not.
4,
but it's putting no
turn
pressure.
5.
But I'm saying you're putting no pressure on your opponent. That's my only problem with all these one attack things in black is you're not pressuring your opponent. And so if they ever end up being a more controlling deck than you, you're in a lot of trouble.
That's true.
And that's just, and in limited, like there's always going to be someone who opened more bombs.
So what? You're in blue black then? This is going to be at the best in blue black.
I don't know. Like,
rather than like black green.
That's my problem. It's just a 1/3 Death Touch. Like it's a C. It's strong, but it's like there's holes.
Blue black.
Okay, I'll put C plus.
Okay.
Yeah, this thing's at home in blue black. I think it's close. C plus C. I'll go C for starters, but I could see it going up.
Speaking of things that are definitely not C's, Nate.
Synapse Necromage, 2 and a black for a 3/1 fungus wizard, great creature type. When Synapse Necromage dies, create 2 1/1 black fungus creature tokens with this creature can't block. The tokens not being able to block from this thing hurts a lot, but
I'll find a way to get over it.
this is truly at home in an aristocrat's deck. It is 3 bodies for sacrifice value for 3 mana, which is all you could really ask for from your black card.
Could have one
If I want
toughness.
something to haunt my nightmares, I definitely want to see these two.
I think this is like it's somewhere between C plus and B minus for me, but I think I'll
Yep.
give it a C plus just because it has 1 health and they can't block.
Yep, I'm on C plus for pretty much the same reasons as Kev, but I do
Yeah.
like him.
Yeah, he looks super good. I'm gonna go ahead and put I say super good, but for what he does,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and put C plus as well.
You got this one, John.
All right, the Chupacabra Echo, 2 colorless and double black.
For a
Great.
beast horror spirit.
Nice.
Yeah, he's getting all the spooky typings with Fathomless Descend. When Chupacabra's Echo enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls gets -X until end of turn, where X is the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. You know, the only drawback I'm really seeing with this is that you can't target your own creatures. Just kidding.
It needs no food, yet it still hungers.
You know it's good when not the Chupacabra, the ghost of the Chupacabra is hunting you down and still really, really strong. It's no Ravenous Chupacabra, but damn, this thing is nice.
The only
Yeah.
thing that really keeps me from giving this thing an absolutely absurd grade is its stats and its pips. But this thing is still a house, and I think you play a lot of these things.
Yeah, I'm taking this guy. I'm putting him at B plus.
It's a 4-mana 3/2, but it just
It's a
comes in
4-mana
with a
3/2
braid.
removal spell.
Yeah. Man, this thing is pretty good. I'll give it a B. It's still the pip kind of hurts it. I don't know. There's a lot of little things, but it's really good.
I'm on B. I think this will be a high pick for a lot of decks, but it won't be great unless you have at least a little bit of incidental descent value.
Yeah, which, How about this one, Nate?
Grasping Shadows, 3 and a black for an enchantment. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gains Death Touch and Lifelink until end of turn. Put a Dread counter on Grasping Shadows. Then, if there are 3 or more Dread counters on it, transform it. It's a must. Not a may. Flips into Shadow's Lair, which is a land. It's a cave. Tap out a black, pay a black, tap it, remove a Dread counter from Shadow's Lair. You draw a card and lose 1 life.
The shadows make no mark on the flesh. It is the mind they claw and strangle. This thing is stone unplayable. It's 4 mana for nothing.
I was about to say, you only read the flavor text of the cards you really like, and then you read this flavor text.
I mean, I read the flavor text of the flavor text I really like.
Somebody somewhere is going to beat me with this, and I'm going to be really, really sad. And one of our friends in paper is going to beat me with this, and I'm going to be so annoyed. This is 4 mana, do nothing, flips into slow card draw.
Yeah, you're just gonna have your 15th land in hand on turn 6, and then they're gonna kill you and be like, "It's a good card."
Okay, it flips on turn 7. Great, just when I wanted my land.
I don't think it's stone unplayable.
It's just mostly unplayable.
It's just mostly unplayable.
Yeah.
Okay, so how unplayable is it?
It's a D- unplayable.
You know what, John, you're probably right, but I'm taking this is a principle stance. I need to, for my friends in paper, I need them to know what the truth is of this card, because I'm sure some of them would give this an A.
I would like to give this a G minus.
You mean G plus?
No, G minus.
Oh, I said G minus.
G
okay.
minus, as in it's very close to D minus, but not quite a D minus. So it's a G minus.
And it does have beautiful art on both sides.
Yeah, the art is
like the little hands coming out. Looks like the Shadow Temple from my Ocarina of Time and appreciators out there.
The way it's holding that vampire's mouth is a little too.
It looks like a mustache.
It does.
Yeah.
It's like a big what do they call it, Fu Manchu.
It's like shh.
4 and a black.
Defossilize.
Sorcery speed. Return to a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. That creature explores, then explores again.
I'm down with this.
Okay.
5 mana, bring a creature back. Again, it's going to work with those cycling cards. And I think
Playing bad cards to make your bad cards better.
This is the beginning of a memer dreamer like masterpiece.
Mhm.
But this effect is always so much worse than it seems on the surface.
but
'Cause
it's like
yeah,
5 mana to get back your 6/6 and draw 2 cards, or make it a 7/7
yeah. So
with.
the game where you played your 6/6 and then it died and you're not dead and then yeah you get just some marginal. No, this is a D. This is like a D. You'll play it. It'll be okay.
You'll play one of these and it'll be okay. I'm gonna go D plus. Explore
I'll go-
again helps.
Yeah, I'd go C minus. I'll be safe and go C minus.
That's good. Abyssal Gorestalker. What does this one do, Nate?
It is a 4/black for a 6/6 horror. When Abyssal Gorestalker ETBs, each player sacrifices 2 creatures. Oh god, this is this is bad.
I love how the mouth has like there's mouths. There's like a big mouth.
All of the teeth. It's really unsettling, you know?
It is. It's very Phyrexian, but it's actually not a Phyrexian. It's just a horror.
It's just a horror.
And man, is it a horror? I think I said purple in this top left corner.
Not even Umbrus wants this. Not even Horror Tribal wants this. This is just bad.
Yeah,
It's
a double edict at 6. It's like, damn.
And it's symmetric too. So if you have to sack this, it's the definition of G plus.
I mean,
Yeah.
someone's gonna.
You're losing yourself the game in some scenario.
This is a front runner for the card that is going to like. My opponent played this, and I either need to win the game or quit Magic forever. Its kin once overran entire civilizations, but they tore each other to pieces in their unending hunger. Now only it remains. Okay, moving on.
Yep.
Bring us home, John.
Oh god. Gargantuan Leech. 7 colorless, 1 black for a leech. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each cave you control and each cave in your graveyard for a 5/5 lifelink.
Does everything down here want to suck my blood?
Man.
If this thing ends up being like, even anywhere near like,
Even if you are making that cave deck work, I still wouldn't want to play this card.
Okay, hear me out.
okay, we're listening. We're all listening.
Would you play 5 mana 5/5 lifelink?
A 5 mana 5/5 lifelink. Begrudgingly, yeah.
I'd be okay playing it.
Yeah, I'd give that like a D plus C minus.
So, in the decks where you're playing this, it's probably a 4 to 5 mana 5/5 lifelink. You are literally not playing it in any other deck.
I'll give it a.
It gets a D minus from me.
I'll give it a D. Whatever.
I like how it looks.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It has nice art with the like kind of dinosaur skull.
Okay, you know what? D. It's probably gonna kill me some other time. And with that, we finished the black. We have been going for about an hour. Either you good to stop, need to stop, or you good to keep going.
I'm good.
I'm actually pretty good to kind of stop here.
Okay.
I'm down to do like what? Because then we just need.
We need red, green, and colorless. So we're over halfway through.
I'd say right now is a good place to stop because like, yeah, I could still keep going, but I think like halfway through red, I'm just like, eh.
Okay, and with that, we're gonna wrap it up tonight. This was the epitome. We are the epitome of salt. We are halfway through our uncommons, and catch us next time for the red, green, and colorless. Take care.
Till next time.
Later.